Breaking right now, the ITV daytime bloodbath, which has already seen Lorraine Kelly and loose women in some type of civil war with This Morning, has just claimed another scalp. So I'm going to be going into all of the details of what's going on, but the brand new information is that hard left dude, who I think should not be on television anyway, just because he's so awful, Adil Ray, is axed. Good Morning Britain presenter facing the axe from The Breakfast Show. No denial from ITV. And of course, as the Daily Mail reports, the 51-year-old's host time on the show has been marred in controversy, including accusations of being woke and fat-shaming darts champion Luke Littler. The Mail reports ITV did not deny that Adil Ray was in trouble amid a huge cost-saving exercise at the channel. So look, there's a lot to pick up here. And Christine Hamilton, I know your heritage with ITV goes back a long way. Of course, you were on the inaugural I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So Neil Hamilton, let me kick off with you. I mean, this is in so many ways, I think, the end of the mainstream media. If ITV can't afford proper daytime programming, then what's left? I do also think, Neil, though, there's a real issue with the whole go woke, go broke thing. ITV used to be the channel for the working classes, and in recent years, it's become the channel of the chattering classes. Like Adil Ray is so left-wing. He's such a member of the elite class, and I never thought he was right for that show. So actually, I think it's a very good thing if he goes. Do you?
Well, I have to say I had never heard of him, so I'm not the best qualified to talk about this. But
You're
if he's
lucky
as
for that.
described by you, I can well understand. But all the mainstream media channels, apart from the BBC, of course, because we're all hostages to the BBC and having to fund it through the license. Through the license fee, but all the other mainstream channels are suffering death by 1,000 cuts, and this is an inexorable process, I think, which is going to come to an inevitable conclusion. They will not be able to fund worthwhile program making through the advertising model that they've got now. They're not nimble enough to do what you're doing, for example, on this Substack, and many others are doing. The alternative media outlets are now so diverse and actually so much better in their formats than what you see in the stale and repetitive formats of the mainstream channels, that I see traditional television as well on the way to being
Yep,
out of the
it's
window.
dead. This is the start of the death of the MSM. I mean, Christine, though, I wonder if you have mixed emotions about this because, of course, so much of your career, ITV's been a big part of it.
Yes, it has. I mean, I don't call it a career. I've just sort of bumbled from one thing to another. But
shush, you're
it's
amazing.
true.
You're a
It's
star.
true. It's not a career. But yeah, I mean, it is true. I was on the first I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So I suppose I owe ITV quite a lot because that was quite a good sort of launch pad after my political days.
We've got some lovely memories, Christine.
Oh dear, yes, I did. I nearly wore that shirt, funnily enough, just now. No, I mean, I have done a lot with them over the years. I think, I mean, in a funny way, the BBC gets criticised for paying Gary Lineker too much and allowing him to get away with stuff off the BBC, etc. And he's now finally gone, thank goodness. And we object to that because it's the BBC and we pay for it. ITV raises their own money, so in a way they can do what they like. But they've possibly allowed some of their presenters to get a little bit too self-important, maybe. Bigger than the show. I was once asked to do a trial in the early days to be one of the loose women, for goodness sake. And I thought that might be quite fun, although I don't actually enjoy discussing a lot of the things that they discuss. Anyway, after 2 or 3 days of being trialed as a loose woman, I was taken on one side by the producer, and you'll love this. And he said, Christian, I'm sorry, but this isn't going to work because you are perceived as being too posh for loose women.
What?
I know he did say perceived. Of course, I'm not remotely posh, but I am apparently by some people perceived. So I probably had a lucky escape. But I mean, for example, they shouldn't be employing Ed Balls to interview his own wife.
Well, I said today on X, Adil Ray first, Ed Balls has to be the next to go. Absolutely insane that you have a long time Labour member who's in bed with the Home Secretary and then been allowed to interview him the next day. Because you just know, if any, I mean, look at the off-communists and what they're trying to do with GB News. But look, I've got to talk to you, Christine, about what's going on with the Loose Women, because they are furious about this. I'll go into this reporting, but just in case people have missed it, effectively, their show has now been slashed for half the year, despite the fact it's just been nominated for a BAFTA and is considered more successful than This Morning. So this is the Sun's reporting, which has said all hell broke loose. And let me take you through it. ITV's daytime division is on the brink of civil war after this week's brutal cost-cutting announcement hammered Loose Women while leaving This Morning sitting pretty. We can reveal the Loose Women lineup had been left in the dark about the cuts to their lunchtime talk show, which will take effect from January. Their anger is also with Kat Deely and Ben Shepherd's This Morning, which has escaped the measures unscathed despite the show's troubled recent history. A source at ITV HQ said the tension is unbearable. There's a lot of rage towards This Morning, which everyone feels is constantly favoured despite it being the lame duck of the daytime flock. The infighting is a feverish time bomb, which executives are desperate to defuse. ITV daytime could combust from the inside at this rate. They feel like often all the negative criticism is levelled at them. This is the Loose Women, the odd out-of-touch comment, whereas the new panellists... Oh, sorry, this is about... Actually, Chrissy, I'll come to that in a moment. But first, let's take that first section, because that's on a different thing. So, Christine, effectively what they're saying, and this is, I believe, what Lorraine Kelly is saying too, is we're the successful shows, yet you're backing This Morning after all of this scandal, everything that went on with Philip Schofield, because effectively what's happening, Christine, is This Morning's doing like a reverse takeover of Loose Women and Lorraine. They are going to produce both shows. Is that fair criticism? Because This Morning is just tanking these days. No one is watching.
Well, I mean, I don't watch it enough to be able to weigh up one against the other, but it's all about one thing, isn't it? It's all about viewing figures. It's all about bums on seat. And presumably the ITV executives know which shows are successful. And if a show is tanking, then it should make way for something that isn't going to tank. And I gather that they're also getting rid of some of these, what shall I call them, from my great age, old stagers. And they wanted to bring in new people because they want younger people, a younger audience. But younger people don't watch television. If they get rid of stagers, they're going to lose their audience, which will not be replaced.
So this is what I was coming on to. This is what I was coming on to, because basically Loose Women it's one of the only shows, actually, and I give them credit for this, that does continue to put older women on television. So you're talking about Jane Moore, Janet Street Porter, Denise Welsh, Kay Adams, Ruth Langsford, and so this is according to the older women on Loose Women. The Sun reports they feel like often all the negative criticism is levelled at them, whereas the new panellists, there is a buzz around them because they have that different point of view. Execs have also proudly proclaimed how the youngsters have brought with them a much needed new audience, and now all of a sudden the older panellists feel like they are going to have to fight for their places against these shiny teachers' pets. And so that's an interesting take on it, isn't it, Christine?
Well, I didn't realise that next quote was coming. I mean, if they think that the younger audience are going to watch, I don't know who these new young people are, because I'm just as out of touch as the old stagers on Loose Women. But, a lot of people who watch television are out of touch. They are older people and they have the views that are regarded as Dinosauric, can you say that? By other people. Dinosauric, it'll do anyway. As I say, it's all about, and the Loose Women panelists are paid a monumental amount of money. They get
£3,000 a day.
So if you're on it all week, that's that every 5 days. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Which is why they're furious. But the problem that I've got,
of course it is, they're losing their livelihood, and no one can understand that. Of course.
But Neil, the problem is they haven't listened to the audience, Neil, because the great thing about Loose Women is it used to be a little bit un-PC. I actually used to think it was a great show when it had Carol McGiffin and Jane McDonald, and it was quite wild and quite raucous. It's all about identity politics now, Neil, including, by the way, and I got into a big row with Charlene White over this. She quite outrageously accused me of racism when I pointed out that is there not a hypocrisy, Neil, to the fact that woke ITV bigs up this idea of an all-black panel. They think it's brilliant, but then thinks it's absolutely terrible if there's ever an all-white panel. And I just said, that's really hypocritical, isn't it? But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. They hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some can even be harmful to your skin, he said. Now, recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices so he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He describes it as being almost like Photoshop for your face and says you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. So in light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public. It is free, it is uninterrupted, and he will outline exactly how to use this simple solution from home. And he said if it helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, he will actually be thrilled knowing that he helped. The video's gone viral as you'd expect. It started on Facebook, over 2.3 million views now. The comments and feedback have been outstanding too. Thousands of women report they look decades younger. One commented that it was the best result of anything they've used. They said, I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you. So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken, or if it's easier for you, you can just click on the link in the description box below this video. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken. There is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers, though. He says, if watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
Well, of course, you're absolutely right. I mean, I have been on Loose Women a few times and enjoyed the experience. We've had lots of joshing and kind of flirting, usually with Christine standing by just to make sure it doesn't get totally out of hand and I don't get ravished by the panel. But quite a long time ago when I was in better shape. No, I thought it was a jolly show and it was good television of its kind as a lunchtime show. And I think it's a shame if that no longer happens. And you're absolutely right. The woke is killing mainstream television.
Go woke, go broke. Go woke, go broke. Yeah. Okay, then
Who wants to watch it?
Yeah, totally. Then Christine Hamilton, I've got to ask you about Lorraine Kelly. I obviously worked on her show for 10 years, so this is a weird one for me. But a worker on the Lorraine show told The Sun, everyone is absolutely furious that This Morning has got away with it yet again. There's a feeling that Loose Women and Lorraine are delivering resilient, solid ratings, while This Morning is always in the press for its tumbling viewing figures. Never mind the Philip Schofield scandal and then Holly Willoughby leaving. This Morning is like the black sheep, and yet that's the show that is not facing cuts. In its heyday, This Morning enjoyed ratings of 2.7 million viewers. Now is lucky to scrape 500,000. And the Daily Mirror, Christine, is reporting that Lorraine Kelly might leave. I mean, it does feel pretty humiliating for her. I mean, when I was there, Christine, it was an hour-long show. It had a big team. It was taken very seriously. This is now going to be just half the year, a half-an-hour show sort of tacked on to the end of Good Morning Britain. I mean, that doesn't feel like a particularly nice way to end Lorraine Kelly's broadcasting career, because I mean she has been legendary, Christine.
Yes, I mean, I hope it isn't the end of her broadcasting career. She's been around a hell of a long time. I remember when she was just on the radio, when the Lorraine Kelly, I can't tell you when it was, but a hell of a long time ago, when the Lorraine Kelly show started. I have read, and you may know whether this is true or not, criticism of her for not doing enough of her own eponymous shows, that she allows other people to do them while she's off doing something else. I have no idea whether that's true or not, but if she is doing that, perhaps that's what they're
Well,
fed up
I
with.
think that was the problem. It was a show called Lorraine, and there was a lot of criticism over the fact that I think last year she was only there for something like 66% of the time. And obviously in America,
madness.
they would pre-record those types of shows. But I mean, look, it's difficult. It's a difficult one, but I feel sorry for the teams on Loose Women and Lorraine who effectively are being told, oh, This Morning are going to take over you, even though they've been a big failure. Now, I've got to ask you too. I don't know if you saw.
Seems unfair, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Very
It does
unfair.
seem unfair.
By the way, Dan, can we stop showing all these photographs of you and me looking hideously young?
I know what happened to us. Oh God. I know. I'm very disturbing actually seeing that. We were young once. Now, I've got to ask you both about what happened with Eamonn Holmes on GB News yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw it, but in case you didn't, this is a reminder.
Nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
And so, look, there's.
I had to cut to an ad break. Now, he did come back on and sort of blame it on the chairs at GB News, which I'm sure you two both agree with me have always been terrible. This is what he said.
Welcome back. Good to see you again, especially good for me to see you again. I am still alive, yes. And they're very wonky wheels on chairs that we've got here. As a matter of fact, we don't really like the chairs full stop, do we?
They're a bit slippy and slidey, aren't they?
They're a bit slippy and slidey, and I've slipped and slid off mine there. Not the first guest to have done so. We've had a few. They have to remain nameless because they're well-known people, but they've hit the floor really badly, quite frightening, and it was a bit of a shock for me because I've had a fall in my bathroom 2 weeks ago, which hospitalised me, and that hit me again right in the back, and really sore.
You okay?
Don't know if it all works or not, but we'll find out. Anyway, Charlie Riley believes that it was some government agent.
Christine Hamilton, the Daily Mail reporting today that bosses at GB News are really concerned about whether Eamonn can go on like this. What do you make of it?
Well, I've no idea what's going on inside the minds of the bosses of GB News, but Eamonn he's a consummate broadcaster. He's been around a hell of a long time. He's a thunderingly lovely guy. I mean, he really is, and that shines through. And if I was GB News, I would be very reluctant to lose Eamonn. But there comes a moment when you can't push somebody beyond their physical limits. And goodness knows what time he has to get up in the morning to be on parade. Is it 6 o'clock? I always decline invitations to go on breakfast television because I can't do it, and I'm relatively fit, unlike Eamonn. So I think it would be a tragedy if he had to end his broadcasting career, because I do think he's brilliant and he brings something very special. He brings a massive honesty, as you could see there in that clip. You know, look at these photographs that he's has allowed to be released of him. You know, and I fell over in the bath. Well, that's not something that a lot of elderly people would admit.
I mean,
frankly.
how terrible, Neil, that they still have not just bought some decent chairs in that studio. I mean, I honestly remember when I was on GB News, Christine, you might remember it, there were some times when my chair would just collapse while we were on air.
I mean, look, I have no idea, but they certainly have improved the chairs, and they have improved, obviously, they've improved a lot of the sets. Eamonn, I have no idea if this is true, but Eamonn just might, in order to save a bit of face for himself, be blaming the chair when in fact he kind of slipped off a perfectly good chair. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's hope he's okay. Let's hope he's
a lovely
okay.
guy. He's a lovely guy, and I hope he still has a great future ahead of him.
Well, you two both definitely do. Two of my absolute favourites, the Hamiltons, Neil and Christine. Before you go, really important that we talk about your campaign, which I think it's best I leave it to you. But effectively, as part of this nut zero madness, that they're trying to completely destroy your area. And actually, Katie Hopkins got into one of these solar farms the other day.
She did. I saw that.
Exposed, and they had her out so quickly. So please, this is such an important campaign. Can you explain? I don't know who wants to take it on, Christine.
Well, I'll start and then Neil, I'm sure, will finish and tidy it up. But I mean, Ed Miliband he's a madman. He's an absolute
Yes,
zealot.
he is. Yes, he
He is
is.
not interested in the facts about the costs that net zero is inflicting on us all. And in our particular case, they call it a solar farm, but that's ridiculous. It's a solar industrial zone. It would become if they get the go ahead. And we are fighting it. Our campaign is called Stop Lime Down. And Lime Down is the cosy little name that they give to this cluster of fields. They found some local farmers, 9 of them in all, including the Duke of Beaufort at Badminton. None of the people who've put their land in, or bar one who doesn't care, can see the land that they've put in. We can. It'll be viewed from our window. But they all either live miles away, etc., so it doesn't affect them. And, it's just going to ruin the landscape forever. What is now productive farmland will never, ever, ever be brought back. In 40 years' time, when the solar panels will have been replaced at least once and they become redundant, and solar itself is a redundant method of energy, these will just become brownfield sites. So we will lose forever good agricultural land that, as we speak now, and it will be covered in 4.5 meter high, shiny black panels. Neil will give you all the details about the very cost of alternative energy solar. Do you know the World Bank did a survey the other day, and there are 210 countries involved, and it was the suitability of solar in all these different countries. And top of the list came Namibia. They are the most suitable. Oh, look at that lovely graphic. Well done, thank you. They are the most suitable in the country because of their.
So exactly.
But
So
nobody,
Neil, this basically
we're bottom.
Yeah.
We're bottom.
Well, this sign, Neil, so stoplimedown.com is the address, but these signs say solar on rooftops, not fields, protect our countryside.
Well, that's what it's principally about. This campaign isn't a campaign against solar energy, although it's a massively inefficient way of generating electricity in Britain. We're at a latitude of 51 degrees north, so in the winter we don't get much daylight, and also we're on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. So even to the best of times, not in the last few weeks, but usually we suffer from a lot of clouds. So that reduces the light levels, which is how electricity is generated from solar panels, as Christine was saying. There are 210 countries in the World Bank ratings of where's the most suitable place in the world for solar. We're at number 209. The only country below us is the Republic of Ireland, which is even wetter than Britain. So the costs of these things are absolutely colossal. The cost of renewables, A, to the electricity consumer having it loaded onto your monthly electricity bill, or B, through taxpayer subsidies that are given by the UK government, and now anything between 15 and 25 billion a year. And as the proportion of renewables increases in the amount of electricity which is generated, that figure is going to increase, except that the world is waking up now to the massive costs that are
100%,
being imposed on
100%, because anything connected to net zero, by the way, is socialist madness. That's what we know. Now, there is a QR code. Is it too late for this QR code, Christine, or can people still?
No,
okay,
no,
great. So
we're only at the beginning of this fight. This could go on for another 18 months or 2 years.
Okay, well, let's put this up on screen. Let's put this up full screen, Jaden. And this is a QR code, and Christine says, if you don't want solar on farming land, should be on rooftops and brownfield. If you care about green fields and home grown food, then please sign the petition. It's not anti-solar, just want it in the right places. And this QR code, Christine, presumably takes you to the website connected to that petition.
It takes you to the website where there's a lot of extra. We don't put much faith in the petition. It's not going to alter Mad Miliband's mind, is it? But everything helps, and the bandwagon, as both you and Neil have said, the bandwagon against net zero is rolling quite steadily. And we go back to reform. You see, they have had the sense to pick it up. They realise they will immediately cancel all these things.
Yeah, indeed. And having been to your beautiful abode, I can see that you would be very furious about this, and I totally agree. Christine, Neil Hamilton, Stop Lime Down. Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for being here on Outspoken today. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go wherever you are.